So, I want to talk about the fact that you actually started as an accounting major and then transitioned. How, like, and you touched on this a little bit. You said that, you started on radio, into campus radio, and it just took you somewhere. Tell us a little bit about that journey, because I think in there is how you were also being guided without you realizing by the things that are most important to you, like the things that really, honed you and kind of were your fanaticism, if I can put that.
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And it's so interesting because in hindsight, I've probably been doing radio now for 15, maybe 16, 17 years, because I started back at varsity. But like most people, I studied math, science, and accounting were the subjects that I really did well in high school and were typically the focus area.
Yeah.
So it was either going to medicine or business studies.
Yeah.
And I went on to the accounting route.
Yeah.
I could have studied law and a few others, but I thought accounting was definitely where I want to be.
Yeah.
I knew within first year that, oh man, this might not be the journey that I actually had anticipated. But whilst at UJ and on campus, a good friend of mine, Mami Mushasho, was working at UJFM and reading news at the campus radio station. And I would follow her and go about. And I was like, friend, can't I do this thing with you one day? And eventually followed through with the systems, did an interview, got the job, boom, started reading news on campus radio. And that was a beautiful, when I think about it now in hindsight, that was like a beautiful merger of something that I used to do in high school, which was public speaking, whether in English or Afrikaans. And yet I managed to carry it within a hobby or activity that I was able to do at UJFM. The platform of UJFM as well provided an amazing learning experience, because essentially when you're working at a campus radio station or even community, you had the opportunity to do a lot. So you read traffic, you read news, you do a show, you're producing, you get some insight into how sales operate.
So it's the full value chain.
Full value chain, 360 perspective.
Yeah.
And as mentioned, it was a nice way of keeping myself occupied, busy, meeting people, perhaps trying to penetrate the cool kids club as well on campus, because I was not cool in varsity. I was a lot cooler in high school. Yeah, quiet, kept to myself, small circle of friends as well. And really kind of like became more homely and studious, despite the fact that the world was really exposed to me. I think I found it a bit overwhelming at some point. And also come from quite a protective household. But my journey, and in hindsight, when I look at that particular foundation, was an amazing opportunity for me to find something that I enjoy, that I could occupy my time with in an effective manner. But whilst I was also there, as mentioned, I mean, UJFM, like any campus radio, the biggest radio station that everybody wanted to go to after that was YFM, because YFM had Y Academy. And at the time, obviously, when you think about some of the most successful, DJs that came out of there, whether it's a DJ Fresh, Greg Maloka, or even if you look at the likes of
DJ Smooth,
Kapzela, DJ Smooth,
they've all kind of transitioned from
all of them. Rude Boy Paul transitioned from them, and that was also around the time they had this fresh generation of Bonang. I believe Caesar might have been there as well. A few others, the Khelo, the twins as well. So you wanted to be there to be part of the vibe. And I had applied. My CV ended up at Eyewitness News, which I think was a bigger blessing. And that helped me transition into being an overnight newsreader at Eyewitness News. Weekend job, overnight news, as the title describes. Shift started at 7. It ended at 5. Fridays, sometimes Thursdays to Sunday or Monday. So you're not going to have much of a social life, but you make it work nonetheless. And why I guess I'm mentioning this is because, as mentioned, perhaps 2 or 3 primary lessons that I learned from that was, number one, working and operating in something that you enjoy but that you're also good at and willing to put in the work in allowed me to gain opportunities and exposure to being on a platform and working and flexing my muscle in terms of public speaking, which was always something that I thoroughly enjoyed back in high school. Again, keeping an open mind to the opportunities that might have existed was also refreshing, because I could have, been demanding at campus radio and said, I want the drive show. But unless you actually open yourself up to being teachable and learning and experiencing the different opportunities that exist, it probably wouldn't have allowed me to have the insight to know that, well, okay, I can do more. I can go further.